apprenticeships are often for young people, but it isn't always for young people. Taking on apprenticeships is exactly what my next guest decided to do. Sarah Green is 48 from Sheldon and is training to be a vet nurse and is with me on the show. Sarah, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you decide on starting an apprenticeship then?
Good morning. Well, with me, I've always wanted to be a veterinary nurse, but when I was at school, it wasn't the in thing at that point. So it's something I've always wanted to do, but I actually was caring for my son all his life because he had Duchenne dystrophy, and once he went into independent living, I decided that I need to do something. So I actually went to Solihull College, contacted them to say, look, I want to do my veterinary nurse training because I heard about these apprenticeships. But I assumed at my age it'd be a no, but actually it wasn't. So I managed to do other courses to get to where I am now, which is working in a veterinary practice, which is called James Horner Vets. And he actually took me on. But I expected he'd want younger people because, like you say, it's all about young people, but it's not. So, yeah, it was great that I'm doing my dream job.
And you've been out of work for some time because you're a carer for your son, Bradley, who sadly passed away.
Yes, he passed away on the 2nd of April 2022. I was actually doing voluntary work at the vet, and obviously when I did eventually go back, James Horner asked me if I wanted to do an apprenticeship with him, and I was over the moon, and it's helped, it's kept me focused. And I had a pact with my son that we was both going to do something, because Bradley ended up in independent living at the age of 16, which shouldn't have happened because I couldn't get the care package at home. So he ended up living in an independent place for him to get his independence that he wanted. He didn't want his mum around him all the time. So, this is the route we had to go down, not what we wanted, to live apart, but we had no choice. So we both had a pact that we're going to do something. So I spoke to Solihull College, who have been amazing. They're very supportive. And if people think that, I'm hoping to be qualified at the age of 50. And if people think that they have to stay in a job that they've done for years and they don't like it, no, you don't. You can have a career change. It's not all for young people for this apprenticeship. It's for anybody that wants to do the careers they want to do.
Before I say anything else, Sarah, I do want to say my deepest condolences. I do want to go back a moment, after losing your son, which is a hugely tragic part of your life. You mentioned it helped you to refocus during this apprenticeship. How?
Because I've had that opportunity that James Horner's given me to actually do something. Because when you're a carer, you can't, at one stage you can't go to college. People don't employ you because you're a full-time carer. And so you've got no references or you've got no experience anywhere. So you just, most of these carers, when they lose their child, which, like you say, is a big ordeal, and I'm still trying to grieve for him. Yeah. But I've got this focus that James has given me like a lifeline that is keeping me going by actually doing the dream job I've always wanted to do.
And that's amazing. And you've been doing this apprenticeship for a year and a half now. So what do you think the experience has been like for you now that you can look back?
It's been a really good experience. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is tough, especially being an older person, because I've had to retake my maths. I've had to do a different course to get on the course I wanted. So it's not an easy thing to do, but you can do it. And if you're determined, then to do something, you can. And people got to remember that you don't have to, because you're age 45 or 50, like myself, coming up to, the time I've qualified, you can change your career. But like you say, a lot of people think, oh no, only people coming out of school can go and do these apprenticeships. No, you don't. The only thing I would say is the wage for an older person is not a best way for us. I mean, younger people, yes, but for older people, I'd say over 30, especially if you've got, like myself, a mortgage and a family to run as well, it is quite tough. Yeah. But because I've had no money, it's like a bonus to me that I have got some money, because obviously James was worried that being an older person and a house and a mortgage, that it's going to be quite difficult for me to be on the wage that the government sets in place. But I've done it and I'm determined. So, yeah, it's just, you just got to change your lifestyle, especially if you want to do something you want to do. And I just think it's a great opportunity. These companies don't just look at young people, they look at anybody that's willing. And James obviously seen something in me of my passion that, that he knew I wanted to do, and I just, I can't thank him enough, to be honest. And Solihull College, they've been so supportive, knowing, I'm the oldest person in the class, I'm older than the teachers, I'm older than anybody in my work, I'm older than my boss, you know me, but I don't see it like that, and they don't see me being an older person, that, oh no, we can't employ someone like that, because you can. And when that saying is, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, yes, you can.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing your story. Honestly, the misconceptions of the apprenticeships, you've totally just destroyed them and let us know about your story and your experiences. And this is the first time I ever spoke to you, and I'm just so proud of you and your journey.
Thank you.
You're in the process of setting up a charity in your son Bradley's name. Tell me about that.
Yeah, unfortunately for us, when Bradley was about 5, I expected there's a gap between, from children's transitioning from children's services to adult services. I thought, the time Bradley gets to this age, it'll all be gone. But unfortunately, and it's, a very big impact on us, that it wasn't. So unfortunately, Bradley had a lot of bad experiences, that he should have had a care package for himself to be like a 16-year-old and go out without his parents, but he wasn't allowed to because we couldn't get the care package. And it's like, when they get to about 15, 16, the children's services don't really want them, but the adult services can't touch them till they're 18. So personally, I've got a lot of anger that I need to put into something, so I've put my anger into Bradley's charity, because I don't want any of the families going through what we've gone through. So I want to stop this gap that's happening and make sure the services for these young people, because they're not children and they're not adults, they are young people and they still have a life. Like I say, Bradley's condition is limited. The most they do live up is not to 19, which unfortunately Bradley didn't get to that. But we need to change, and this is the whole point of this charity. So I have to raise at least £5,000 into the charity account to actually get a charity number, and then I want to set up an information hub to help and support these families.
Sarah, you're putting all your energy into something so positive, and this is really beautiful. Please stay in touch with us. I'd love to be able to hear more from you as this journey continues with you as well. Can we do that?
Yeah, I certainly will.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us on the show. You listening right now,